7 undervalued Porsche models that will skyrocket in price. Number 7, first-gen Cayenne, 2003 to 2010. The hated hero's redemption. Starting around 10 to 12,000 for a Cayenne S, 15 to 23,000 euros for a 957 GTS manual if you can find one. Remember when Porsche purists lost their minds over the Cayenne? Porsche making an SUV, blasphemy. Well, guess what happened to all those controversial first-generation models that everyone initially hated? They became collectible gold mines. The Cayenne saved Porsche financially, and now it's entering that sweet spot where automotive history gets rewritten. This beast shares DNA with the VW Touareg, which means parts availability and reasonable running costs. But while everyone was complaining about Porsche selling out, they missed that this thing could genuinely conquer mountains while hauling families in luxury. Here's the money shot. Cayenne S models sitting around 10 grand today are projected to hit 25,000 by 2030. That's a 150% return on a vehicle most people still think of as a mistake. But here's what'll kill your investment dreams. Those early plastic coolant pipes. They fail with Swiss watch precision. Smart buyers upgrade to aluminum pipes immediately. Also watch for drive shaft center bearing failures and air suspension leaks. The manual transmission cars are unicorns, especially the VR6 and GTS variants. If you find one, buy it. These are the last manual Cayennes Porsche ever built, but the analog sports car at number 6 makes SUV appreciation look conservative. Number 6.968, Sport Club Sport. The arbitrage opportunity starting around 18,000 euros for a Sport, over 40,000 for a Club Sport in Germany. Want to see market inefficiency in action? The 968th Club Sport commands over 40,000 euros in Germany, while the UK-only Sport averages just 18,000, despite delivering virtually identical driving experiences. This is peak transaxle engineering from Porsche. That 3.0-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder produces massive torque, and the 50-50 weight distribution creates handling that modern Porsches struggle to match. The Club Sport gets attention for its stripped interior and motorsport pedigree, but the Sport delivers the same sublime chassis dynamics, the same torque-rich engine, the same transaxle perfection, just with creature comforts intact. Brexit created import friction that's keeping UK Sport prices artificially low, while German Club Sport values soar. Smart buyers are exploiting this arbitrage before the gap closes. Here's the reality check. Timing belts are non-negotiable. Skip them, and you'll transform your investment into expensive scrap metal. High-mileage cars can develop cam wear, requiring engine rebuilds. One UK enthusiast bought a pristine 968 Sport for 19,000 euros and watched similar Club Sports sell for double his investment. He bought a market inefficiency that's rapidly correcting itself, but the V8 flagship at number 5 makes transaxle appreciation look like pocket change. Number 5, 928S GT, the misunderstood masterpiece. Starting around 31,000 on average, but the spread runs from sub-6,000 project cars to 112,000 showstoppers. The 928 was supposed to replace the 911. Instead, it became Porsche's most misunderstood masterpiece, a 170-mile-per-hour grand touring missile that scared buyers with complexity. When this car works, it's absolutely magnificent. That 5.0-liter V8 makes a statement. Front engine, rear transaxle, perfect weight distribution, and enough torque to rearrange your internal organs. Here's why values stayed suppressed: electronics. Early 928s had electrical systems that seemed designed by sadists. But today's landscape has completely changed. Specialist shops understand these cars. Parts availability improved dramatically. Some components are even 3D printed now. Here's the golden opportunity. Manual transmission cars. Roughly one manual exists for every 20 automatics. Find a clean manual S4 or GT today for around 35,000, and you're looking at 75,000 by 2030. But timing belt maintenance isn't optional, it's survival. These are interference engines, and belt failure means complete engine destruction. Engine mounts fail regularly, and torque tube bearings wear out. Here's what separates survivors from casualties. Service history. A 928 with documented time-based maintenance is worth double a car with gaps in its records. But the turbocharged icon at number 4 makes V8 appreciation look predictable. Number 4. 944 Turbo. The Radwood Rocket starting around mid-20s for clean drivers, but the best examples are already pushing 54,000 and climbing. This is the car that proved Porsche could build front-engine perfection. The 944 Turbo isn't just fast, it's balanced in ways that make modern supercars feel clumsy. That 50-50 weight distribution creates handling that borders on telepathic. Hagerty data shows 944 Turbo values up 54% since 2019, and the trend isn't slowing. Why? Because clean, unmodified examples are becoming genuinely scarce. Too many were crashed, modified beyond recognition, or neglected into mechanical oblivion. That turbocharged 2.5-liter four-cylinder delivers power in a way modern turbo engines can't match. Linear, predictable, and addictive. No lag, no drama, just relentless acceleration that builds like a freight train. But here's the expensive reality. Timing and balanced shaft belts are due every 30,000 miles or 4 years. The clutch replacement requires engine removal. We're talking about a $5,000 repair when routine maintenance becomes major surgery. Turbo shaft play inspection is critical during purchase. A worn turbo means big money for replacement. Cracked dashboards are nearly universal, and the fuel rail damper loves to fail at the worst moments. Values are projected to hit the mid-40s by 2030 for clean drivers. Turbo S models and final-year cars carry additional premiums reflecting their rarity. One collector bought a pristine 1991 Turbo S for $38,000 in 2020. Today, similar cars are asking $60,000 or more. He bought into a trend that's still accelerating, but the water-cooled legend at number 3 makes Turbo 4 appreciation look conservative. Number 3.966, Carrera 2 Coupe, the last affordable 911. Starting around $27,000 for clean examples, but that window is closing fast. This is it, the last 911 that feels truly analog. Cable throttle, relatively low weight, and that pure connection between driver and machine that newer cars can't replicate despite all their technological sophistication. The 996 generation was controversial when new. Those fried egg headlights offended purists, and the water-cooled engine broke decades of tradition. But controversy creates opportunity, and smart buyers recognize what the 996 really represents. The final chapter of simple, honest 911 engineering. Focus on 1999 to 2001. Carrera 2 Coupes with manual transmissions and rear-wheel drive. This delivers the purest 996 experience without all-wheel drive complexity or convertible weight penalties. That 3.4-liter flat 6 produces 300 horsepower in a package weighing just 2,900 pounds. Modern 911S are faster, but they're heavier, more complex, and more isolated. The 996 puts you in direct communication with the road. Values are projected to hit $55,000 by 2030 for the right specification. As the last affordable 911 narrative gains momentum, clean manual coupes are becoming genuinely scarce. But the IMS bearing issue isn't a myth. It's reality requiring attention. Budget around $1,500 for a retrofit if it hasn't been done. The rear main seal loves to leak, and the coolant expansion tank cracks predictably. Color matters more than you'd expect. Guards red, Arctic silver, and speed yellow command premiums because they photograph well and attract buyer attention. Condition trumps mileage. A well-maintained 100,000-mile car beats a neglected 50,000-mile example. Pull a DME over rev report during pre-purchase inspection. These engines handle abuse, but you want to know if the previous owner treated it like a rental. But the mid-engine bargain at number 2 makes 911 appreciation look expensive. Number 2, 986 Boxster S. The mid-engine steel, starting around $18,000, projected to hit $35,000 by 2030. That's a 94% return on the cheapest way into mid-engine Porsche ownership. This is the car that saved Porsche from bankruptcy and now it's positioned to save your investment portfolio. The 986 Boxster S offers genuine mid-engine dynamics at prices that make Ferrari ownership look financially irresponsible. Focus on 2003 to 2004 models with a 3.2-liter engine and 6-speed manual transmission. These final-year cars received the glass rear window, eliminating plastic window replacement headaches. More importantly, they got the updated IMS bearing design that's less prone to failure. That mid-engine layout creates handling characteristics front-engine cars simply can't match. The weight distribution is perfect, steering response immediate, and chassis balance makes every corner feel like a dance between driver and machine. The IMS bearing issue kept values artificially low for years. Buyers were scared off by horror stories of catastrophic engine failures, creating opportunity for informed enthusiasts who understand the problem is fixable and preventable. Demand tailwinds are building from multiple directions. Millennials are reaching peak earning years, and discovering analog driving experiences are becoming extinct. The 25-year import rule is opening new markets. Most importantly, people realize 18,000 buys a lot of mid-engine Porsche. If the IMS bearing hasn't been addressed, budget 2,000 for the retrofit. Water pumps fail regularly, and coolant tanks crack with Swiss watch precision. The M030 sports suspension and limited slip differential are options worth hunting. They transform good cars into great ones. When everything's sorted, the 986 Boxster S delivers an experience modern Porsches struggle to match. The engine sits behind your head, creating a soundtrack no front-engine car can replicate. But our #1 pick makes mid-engine appreciation look conservative. Number 1.977.2, Carrera S, 2009 to 2012. The last pure Carrera S, starting around 55 to 85,000, with manuals often commanding 80 to 90,000, and trending towards six figures by 2027. This is it, the last naturally aspirated Carrera S with hydraulic steering and the MA1DFI engine that eliminated the IMS bearing boogeyman forever. If you want to understand why enthusiasts are panicking about the death of analog driving, spend time behind the wheel of a 997.2 Carrera S. The 2025 market dip created a buying window that won't last long. Macroeconomic factors soften prices across the collector car market, but the fundamentals driving 997.2 appreciation haven't changed. They've strengthened. That 3.8-liter flat six produces 385 horsepower through a rev range modern turbo engines can't match. The hydraulic power steering provides feedback electric systems simply can't replicate. The naturally aspirated throttle response is immediate and linear in ways that make turbocharged engines feel artificial. Manual transmissions represent roughly 30% of production, making them genuinely scarce in today's market. As values climb towards six figures, the manual premium will only increase. This isn't just about performance, it's about the end of an era. The 997.2 represents the final chapter of naturally aspirated 911 Carrera S production. Everything that came after went turbocharged, sacrificing the linear power delivery and distinctive soundtrack that made 911 special. Budget 2,000 to 5,000 per year depending on usage. PASM dampers age out and require replacement. Pre-purchase inspections should include DME over rev reports to understand how the car was driven. Strong specifications and desirable colors command premiums that will only grow as these cars transition from used luxury cars to collectible classics. Sport chrono, ceramic brakes, and manual transmissions are the holy trinity of 997.2 desirability. The 997.2 Carrera S isn't just appreciating. It's becoming the benchmark that future 911 values will be measured against. Universal buying checklist. Before you buy any of these Porsches, here's your survival guide. Verify VIN and options. Scan the ECU with Durametric for over-rev reports, and check model-specific rust hotspots. Demand time-based maintenance records, not just mileage-based service. Belts, hoses, and seals age regardless of odometer readings. Budget an extra 10% for catch-up work and join Porsche clubs before you buy. The knowledge you'll gain is invaluable. The macro trends are pointing in the right direction. Gen X and millennials are driving analog nostalgia through Radwood and youngtimer culture. EV fatigue is real. Analog Porsches become the antidote to digital driving experiences. There you go, 7 Porsche models that are ignored now but will be expensive later. Which one are you actually buying today, and why? If I snubbed your beloved underdog, correct me in the comments and make your case. Next video, Porsche Buy Traps, how to avoid the money pits and pick a car that appreciates while you drive it. Hit that like button if this video just saved you from making an expensive mistake, and subscribe for more automotive truth that dealers don't want you knowing.